Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nala, so happy that you are here. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this Louise Carmen trifold style traveler's notebook. I have been in love with this system, and judging by the comments and interactions, you guys did as well. So a few of you asked if I could show a tutorial on how I did this, and so I'm going to try to do that with the best of my ability. I don't use any measurements. I fully just do things by girl math, eyeballing it. Math is not my strong suit, and I try the absolute best to avoid having my brain work overtime and trying to understand it. The thing that I love most about these journals is that they're very personable. You can customize them however you like. Starting with these books here, I got them for $1 each from Walmart. They're so simple, just lined notebooks, and I actually use like a contact paper in order to give it a little bit more customization, a little bit more design. They come in like this this brown here, and like I said, I think they're like $1 from Walmart. A few other things you'll need is an elastic. You can use whatever color, whatever size you want. I'm going to use alcohol colors to color this white one to make it more customized. And then these eyelets that come with the eyelet tool. Ideally, I wanted a smaller size, but these were the smallest I could find. And then I have this fake leather material. You can use real leather if you like. This one is just really easy to work with, and I just love the design of it. And then 2 sheets of paper to create a template. And I like these little bookend things in order to add this extra detail on it. Totally unnecessary, but I just think that it adds a little bit of a sort of fantasy-esque to it. So what I'm initially doing here is I'm going to line up these 2 papers and see the height and the width that I want for this notebook to be. So essentially this is going to take place of the leather, and just kind of measuring everything out. Luckily enough for me, the notebooks fit perfectly within this, so I don't have to trim the top or the bottom to get the height right. And I'm really just trying to figure out where I want the folds to lay here. So I'm shortening the paper if I want the folds to be just a little bit shorter. And I want to pay attention to the detail that I want the spine to have enough space to fit multiple notebooks in it. Like if I want her to be thick and chunky, I want her to be able to have that space without the inner trifold coming out. And this is all personal preference. It definitely is up to you on how thick you want your actual journal to be. I want mine just to be a little bit on the thicker spine side, just in case I have like a bigger notebook that I want to slide in here. You could want it to be really small. It's totally cool. That's the cool thing about this. Totally personalized. Jeez. And then I'm just going to put on some tape so that the papers don't shift once I know exactly where I want the papers to be. I'm going to tape it on both sides actually here. Taking some sort of writing utensil, I'm just going to kind of mark out where I want the holes for the elastic to go. And here again, I'm just trying to figure out the width of which I want the spine, and just kind of like seeing how much space I might have to put the eyelets next to each other. To make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to put in my other notebooks in here to kind of give me an idea of what sort of thickness that I want. Folding over that outside trifold piece, the cover, I don't know what you want to call it, and I'm gonna just kind of fold generally where I want the spine to kind of lay out, so you can see I'm making that crease right here. Now whenever we unfold it, you can see the guideline that you want your eyelets to kind of stick around. And because this notebook is not super rigid, it is very soft, it doesn't have to be exactly within those guidelines. It's just kind of like an idea. And so you want to make 6 holes on the top and 6 holes on the bottom in order to have the elastic go through. I know it looks like I did 3 on the top there. I'm gonna go back and do that in a second. And then I did do 1 hole on the back of the journal, and that's where the elastic to keep it closed is gonna go through, where it wraps all around the journal. I'm pretty confident in my placement of the things, and I mean, this is a very forgiving project, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it out. After having everything cut out, I realized that I forgot the extra 3 little eyelet holes for the top and the bottom, so I'm just going in and doing that. And these are also, again, super rough placement. You'll see later on that I kind of messed up a little bit, which was not a big deal. And then I'm using just a Phillips screwdriver to pierce a hole into this fake leather that I have, and just twisting it and then puncturing it through. You can also use a leather punch if you're using real leather, but this is such a soft, pliable material that I didn't need anything heavy duty. So it just kind of depends on what material you're working with. After getting all of those punched through, you're done with your template. It's so simple. And then so you can see all of the little holes, and I'm just going to use my screwdriver to kind of puncture them through to make sure that the holes are there and good. And I will recommend, whenever you do the eyelet holes, to make sure that you bring the holes down just slightly a little bit more than I did on the edges, just so that like your eyelets don't rip through the actual fabric of the top. So just like maybe like a little quarter of an, not even quarter of an inch, just a little bit further down the spine so that it's not so close to the edge. Using the screwdriver again, I'm just making the hole a little bit bigger, and then on the right side out, you're gonna slip the eyelets into it, and then you'll want to hammer on the wrong side of whatever material you're using. And it's simple as that. Sometimes the eyelets won't, hammer down super neatly, I guess you could say, but you can just hammer it out a little bit more with said hammer, and it works perfectly fine. And what I was talking about here is you can see the eyelets are a little bit close to the edge, a little bit more than my liking, but it's totally fine. I even accidentally ripped this fabric a little bit while I was trying to make the hole, and it's still, the eyelet really holds onto it and really clasps onto the material. So even though it's ripped, it's hardly noticeable, and it's still perfectly durable and fine. From here, it's a lot of just rinse and repeat, do the same thing over and over, and it's pretty simple as that for the eyelets. I mean, this is probably going to be one of the easiest DIYs that you could do. I'd say you could probably get it done in under 30 minutes if you are hustling. And just like that, you're already 50% done with this. I mean, 60 to 70%, honestly. So I put these little book corner ends on here, and it is just as simple as the eyelets. You just take it, put it on, give it a little pinch, and then hammer the rest. They're super easy to put on. Now for the elastic. So you can either keep it white and pristine if that's what you like, but I wanted to add a bit of color. So I am using these alcoholic markers and just basically choosing a color that I think would fit well. And I am particularly on like a hot pink kind of streak. I don't know, hot pink has been the vibe for quite a minute and I dig it. So that's what I'm using. And here you'd probably think like, wouldn't it be smart to do some measuring now, Nala, don't you think? And to that I say nay, we still are going to use our girl math and eye measurements. I don't measure when I hang picture frames, and I don't measure, well, I really don't measure for anything, if we're being completely honest here, and everything turns out totally fine. I feel like that's the cool thing about having a creative brain, a more artistic kind of style brain, is that I'm very good at guesstimating, and seeing the symmetry of things, and I don't know. I don't know if it's good luck or what, but I get away with not measuring shit all the time. My husband would probably have something different to say. He's the very by the books. I need to measure the wall, find the middle points, measure this side to make it right, measure the other side to make sure it's right, give it a good level, top, bottom, whatever. It takes him like 30 minutes to hang a picture. Meanwhile, me, I'll look at the wall and I'll be like, there, looks good, and put a tack in. And you know what? More often than not, mine turns out to be more symmetrical than his anyways. So Like, there's so many times he's hung a shelf and it turned out to be not straight at all, but I hang it up by eyeball and it's straight. So suck on that. After stringing your elastic through and making sure that you tie a knot on the biggest part on the back just to make sure it doesn't fall out, then we're gonna slide in the notebooks and make sure they fit. And if you wanted to, you could totally stop here, but this is the part where we get to make it more fun and more customizable. And so we can use little charms and trinkets. I happen to have these ones left over from a fantasy-inspired charm necklace that I made. So I'm pulling out a dagger and this little pearl and a dragon. This one here with the little medallion-looking one was from an old necklace that I had. And so you can repurpose old earrings or jewelry, anything that you could find from the thrift store, I think would be really cool. There's so many different things that you can do with this in order to make it yours. And that's like one of the coolest things that I love to see online whenever people have these notebooks, is just the way that they personalize them. I am sat and ready whenever I see people give tours of their notebooks, because I just love seeing the unique creativity of everybody. And the cool things with the charms is that if you decide you find a better one that you want to use, then you can just easily swap it out to make it like fresh and new and more exciting, to get that little hit of dopamine again. And this would be such a cool gift to give a friend or a family member if you know that they're really into writing. Something that you can just make really just a heartfelt gift out of. I would be brought to tears if somebody handmade a journal for me because they knew that I liked writing. That I would cry. And here I'm putting in one of my thicker journals. This is my commonplace notebook. I wanted to see if it would fit in here, and it totally does. So I'm glad that I was able to make it a thickum. It's so versatile. And if you want to stop here, that's fantastic. You're done. There's other cool ways that you can add to this notebook still. You can add pocket inserts, zipper inserts, that would work as kind of like how you put the notebook in, but it would be like a zipper situation, which is really cool. On my smaller notebook, I have it to where I have like this extra bit of fabric that I've created a side pocket out of, which if you want to do on this bigger one is so easy. All you have to do is just place another piece of fabric or material on this fold here and then just sew all along the lines. I use just embroidery string, super easy, but I just didn't feel like doing it in this one for today. Just all along this edge here, and it adds a nice little pocket situation for stickers and stuff that you want to add in there. I didn't think that was really necessary just for my journaling. If you happen to do this because of my video, please let me know. I love seeing all of the unique ways that you guys really take things and spin them into your own. I think it's so stinking cool. If you want to see a full video on my whole journal ecosystem thing that I've got going on, I'll leave the video linked up in the top. Otherwise, I hope that you have a beautiful day, and of course, stay excellent. Bye.